871.
And I might add, this was a request put in by the registrars. Yes, and if you could go ahead and distribute the substitute, that would be great.
Okay, there's a substitute. The motion's been made by Senator Chapin and properly seconded by Senator Peak. To adopt the substitute, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the substitute is properly before us.
Thank you,
Madam Chair. Tell us
Chair.
what the substitute does.
Okay. I'm trying to find a substitute. I apologize. Thank you. All right.
Yes. I don't think this bill is new to us. It's the third-party registration requirements. If you get 25 or more voter registration applications, you're required to register with the Department of Elections as a third-party group.
Okay, that's right. Okay. All right. This is going to make sense in just a minute. Basically, what's going to happen, let me describe it and then we'll come back to the substitute if that's okay.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is basically take care of some issues that occurred during the federal election regarding third-party groups that were registering people for votes. We had some issues that came up in Harrisonburg and some other places. This bill requires an individual or organization that will be distributing and collecting voter registration applications to register as a third-party registration group with the Department of Elections prior to engaging in any voter registration activities. So we're trying to require a little more accountability with those people that are registering people to vote. It would be great if we would just send them to their website and let them sign up to vote, but we have active and eager folks out there wanting to sign people up to vote. And what the substitute will do is say if you're collecting 25 or more signatures, that you need to register with the state because you have a number, you're engaging in a number of registrations. The bill requires volunteers and employees of third-party registration groups to register with the department. The department is required to issue a unique identification number to each third-party registration group, and each group shall assign its volunteers and employees a separate identification number. So we're increasing the accountability here for those who are collecting signatures. The bill requires these identification numbers to be included on voter registration applications collected by the third-party registration group. The bill also requires third-party registration groups to maintain a record containing information about all volunteers and employees engaging in voter registration activities on behalf of the group, each of whom is required to receive training and to maintain a log of his registration or her activities to be submitted with a completed application collected. The bill prohibits the compensation of volunteers and employees on a per application basis. Okay, so let me cut to the chase for you. The bill addresses some of the concerns, as I mentioned, that were shared with me by the registrars across the Commonwealth. One of those being the prohibition for the compensation of volunteers on a per application basis, which will de-incentivize folks from stuffing the numbers with fake or forged registrations, such as the Harrisonburg case that happened this year. You know, the kids are incentivized. The more applications you collect, the more money you're going to get. We want to take away that incentive. It provides greater transparency and accountability of those registering folks to vote, making it easier for the Department of Elections to contact registration groups if there are issues with the applications that they've submitted. And I also have two folks that are speaking to the bill.
Okay. Anybody, I think everybody in the committee understands the bill. But, anybody in the audience who wishes to speak, you'll come forward and speak quickly.
Larry Hickey.
Hey, Larry. After up here.
Larry Hickey, Chesterfield General Registrar. Prepared a report on review of false applications received in Chesterfield that I emailed to each of you yesterday. It outlines how we had fake addresses with names, how we had duplicate registration applications, same people different handwriting, and fake name and a legitimate address. It also illustrates how that happened in '08 and '12 as well as '16. And the purpose of this bill is to be able to establish accountability, as Senator Chase said, and identify people and hopefully prosecute them.
And those of us who were here for the joint House and Senate hearing in the fall heard from a number of the registrars on this point. It was raised repeatedly and was the subject of a number of requests from registrars to please do something about that during this session. So we appreciate the work that you compiled as well.
Madam Chairman,
Thank
I
you.
have a question.
Senator Edwards.
What is the current status of third-party voter registration entities? How are they regulated right now?
The only regulation is, and I think it's been mentioned, if they get 25 or more applications, they have to attend a training session, either online or at registrars or the state. When we went looking for the organization that was sending us these fake applications, their address was an empty storefront in a strip mall. So they had either never been there or they had vacated by the time we realized what was going on.
So ghosts.
Right.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, next.
I just have one more thing that I want to add about the substitute, is that this does take off the weekly requirement to report those volunteers to the State Board of Elections.
Okay. Okay.
Madam Chair?
I'll let her go. Can I let her go?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll let them finish and then Senator Spruill is next.
All right, Madam Chair and Committee, Senator Mava, the League of Women Voters, and we are conflicted with this bill because we want to serve the voters and make sure that they're protected and that the registration process is done properly. So we would definitely agree that there should be no compensation by form, so we certainly agree with that. And we certainly agree that there should be training. And we appreciate that there is a change to it's 25 or more forms that are being requested. And we are very careful, and we would like everybody else to be as careful as the league is. So we understand certainly the issue with the registrars and the problems that they have had, so we respect that. And we were very concerned about the amount of reporting that was required in this bill. So we're also respect the change that the senator has made on that. So I have I'm presenting a very conflicted position on this bill.
We understand your position, and I know we've had discussions about this. There are those people who have a lot of integrity, who care so much and do it perfectly. And, you know, we want that to happen. We appreciate that there are those people who do those third-party registrations. And then it's those who are a ghost, who do it in the storefront, who don't really exist and who have no accountability. And that's what, you know, is undermining that process for everybody. And it's those folks that obviously the registrars are, you know, operating in with great distress and is causing chaos and havoc. And so, you know, we heard from all of those people this fall about, you know, Uncle, help us do something that would create some accountability and a process that you could, you know, I guess,
Do you have,
bring some.
Right, and we most assuredly do not want to discourage groups
Right,
to do it.
right.
is there,
Okay.
Madam Chairman,
Senator Spruill. Senator Spruill, you get to go first.
Thank you, bless your heart. But my question is that what about, let's do Chesapeake for example. Our register, we register different churches. And the register office, they have someone that train them, and it's more than 25. So it's not that they're not doing it on their own and they're not trained. The register, one of them will go there with the person, so they can do more than 25. So you were saying that because they do 25, with the one day, you have 3 registers in Chesapeake. Either they will be there to train, or they send someone there, and they do more than 25. So they got to sign up, and they're not doing it. There's a name like that. They're gonna open up a church that's doing their own. The register is there. That's how we do it in Chesapeake. At different churches, they have someone from the register's office there.
Right.
So what about that?
Right, sure. Here's what I would say to that. I think initially we did not have that amendment where you had to have, you know, 25 or more. I would encourage people to go to the website and get people to register there. If not, we're just giving more accountability and more transparency and allowing the state to prosecute people, give them that ability if they act in a way that's not appropriate.
Madam Chair, I'm not trying to put anybody in jail. Now, let's use the website. Take me for example. I don't use this. Everything like this. One thing, so, and
I'm with you.
I got an iPhone. I had a BlackBerry phone. My granddaughter, my chief of staff, got it so much. So I got an iPhone. I do know how to text. So what about those folks that we were supposed that don't have a website? And I'm saying,
Sure,
so it
yeah,
ain't like the
exactly.
church is doing it on their own.
Right.
They got somebody from registered office there.
Right.
So if the registered office is there with someone training them and they're there the whole time, so why would they have to go through the process of paying a fee with them being there to make sure it's done right?
Senator Reeves.
Maybe I might be able to address Senator Rule's concerns. The registrar is there to facilitate your church in those registrations. So I would just, my assumption under this supplement or this substitute would be that the church would need to register, but the registrar herself or himself is there only to facilitate. So I think if they're gonna collect 25 or more, they would have to comply with it. We're not trying to do an undue burden on them, but that'd be no different from someone else going out to try to train the trainers, so to speak, on how to do these things. I think it's great, but I think this brings conformity to these organizations and accountability. And, you know, your church probably falls into one of those that does it the right way, and they have an address. But the challenge we have is and every party has it, these third-party organizations that come out that are fly-by-night that are throwing these things in, and it's probably the only reasonable, prudent way to kind of govern them in. So I would say your church would have to probably, at least under the supplement, have to register under that guidelines. And I think it would probably be pretty simple since the registrar's helping them do it.
Madam Chair?
Senator Sproul.
To Senator Lee, I can understand the fly by night. We were talking about the registered office in our area. What they would normally do, they would seek out a church, different one at different time, and they could do it in, and they'll have someone there. And so they like.
Larry, do you want to speak to
I
that?
would say, if you've got the registrar or someone from the office,
Yes, sir.
then it's not a third-party operation.
Yes, sir.
The registrar is the second party. The first party is the individual.
Yes, right.
We're the second party. Somebody without us then becomes a third party, but if I'm there or somebody from my office,
Yeah.
then it's not a third party
Then
operation.
it's on-site registration.
Right.
If it's somebody else doing it and collecting
Right.
them away from you and away from the registrar,
Right.
then that's when this bill would apply.
You've probably been around long enough to remember how we used to have to do it. Swear people in, train them in the registrar, then they went out.
That's right.
This isn't that foreign from that. So if they're operating under the registrar's office, then this wouldn't apply.
You go to the church and they're there.
If the registrar is at a church doing it, no, then the registrar is in charge.
Okay, so that doesn't apply. Okay, thank you.
Right.
1 minute, Madam Chair.
Okay, come on.
Whoever.
We are running out of
What
time,
are the
and
objections to
I want to give everybody the opportunity to speak, so
Thank you, Madam Chair.
really short of time.
Lisa
Senator Evans,
Tsai.
can you let her speak for 1 second before you go? Okay, go ahead.
Lisa Tsai, Virginia Education Association. VEA is a third-party registration group, and primarily we have field staff who might sign up new teachers as they move to the state. Currently, my understanding is that we have one VEA staff person who is trained and able to train staff in doing so. So we have concerns about the reporting and training requirements with this bill.
Thank you. Okay, Senator Edwards, sorry about that.
The legal women voters who, do you have any suggested amendments to make it better?
No.
You said you were conflicted. I want to know where the conflict.
Well, the changes that we appreciate was the lack of the necessary reporting. Because originally you had to report every week, and this was just a lot of clerical work.
Would you like the bill the way it is?
She wants to say yes.
No, I would say the other piece that does take more time is the unique identification on every registration form.
Okay, committee operates on a motion. We got one. Yeah, Senator Evan.
I would think this bill has a fiscal impact from maintaining all these logs and so forth. Is there a fiscal impact statement on this?
Let's see.
I believe there is no fiscal impact on the substitute.
There is a fiscal impact on the
Okay, but as out of an abundance of caution, the motion might still need to be a report and re-refer to finance out of an abundance of caution. Let's just do that. Okay, so committee operates on a motion? Okay, motion's been made to report and re-refer the substitute to finance. It's been properly seconded. All in favor of reporting and re-referring Senate Bill 871 to finance, please vote on your screen. Green or nay? Somebody order vote, Chase. I think she's an aye.
Are you an aye?
I think you're an aye.
I would like to wait for this.
Okay, the bill reports 8-6. Okay, Senator Chase, your next bill.
Okay,